Hello and welcome back to T1D Life and Travel. I'm Dawn, back to discuss how we were planning for Georgina's trip to Honduras, her year-long gap year, and our considerations on what we were going to do about keeping her insulin at a safe temperature for the duration of her travelling and her full gap year. So I would like to show you this purchase that we made. This is a medicine cooler that we bought. In fact, we bought two for the amount of storage that Georgina needed for her insulin for the full year. We needed to purchase two of these for her traveling for her journey. So we chose these particular ones because they've got a display on them which shows the temperature that is inside, and it maintains it at a fridge temperature of 2 degrees to 8 degrees Celsius. And the space inside between the two of them was sufficient for Georgina's vials for the full year. So she has a pump, and so she uses these bottles of insulin, but also for backup, she has her pen insulin vials as well. And so inside these two coolers, we managed to get the full year worth of the bottles that she needed for her pump, and also about a few months worth of these just in case something went wrong with the pump itself. And so we had some backup pens in case things went wrong. We just have to have that backup. So what we did, we did some research to see what different things were on the market, and there are quite a few different things, and depending on the duration of your time traveling and what your requirements are when you actually get to your destination, you might find you need to have one of these styles of fan coolers, or perhaps just the gel pack inside one of these bottles without the fan might just do what you need. But because Georgina was traveling for almost 40 hours, it was about 39 hours by the time she actually got to her final destination, door to door. So leaving our house, the journey by car, then a journey by train, the wait at the airport, her flight to the first airport stop along the way, then the time for the changeover, and then our flight to the final destination of Honduras. And then she had a 6.5 hour road journey by minibus to get to her final destination. And in addition to that, because of the duration of time, they stopped off to have some lunch along the way as well. So all of that traveling, we needed to make sure that her insulin was at a good temperature for the whole time. So that's why we went for these particular coolers. And inside there is a gel pack. And in this design, the gel pack stays cold, keeps insulin cold enough for 33 hours, round about that. And then it just worked out quite nicely that when she landed in Honduras, it was still within the time frame for our gel packs. And she took them out, put the fans in place, and used a battery backup. So we'd bought these extra storage batteries, which we tested out at home here in the UK to last for 15 and a half hours. So that last leg of our journey, which was 6.5 hours plus stoppage time for sightseeing and eating, we knew that the 15 and a half hours would be plenty of time for that last leg for keeping the insulin in that little mini fridge. So that all worked really, really well. I highly recommend something like that if you've got such a long journey. The actual ones with just the gel pack might be enough for you if it's a shorter trip that you're doing. But it's very much worth investigating to see whether one of these will actually suit your requirements as well. So what else we bought was a breezy bag, which is actually designed to keep your insulin at a standard room temperature. So in Honduras, the temperatures are much, much higher than in the UK, and the temperatures can reach like 30s, 40s, which is very rare in the UK. I mean, it can happen on an odd day here and there, but most of the time, our room temperature would be about 18 degrees to 20 degrees on average. And so, like, we wanted to be sure that the insulin wouldn't get too hot. So, not only keeping it fridge temperature when it is being stored, but when it is actually out of the fridge and it's within its 28 days of use, we needed to ensure that it wasn't going to get too warm and spoil that way, because then she might end up having to throw away some insulin and use up her insulin supplies quicker. So this breezy bag has got a really good design, and it does maintain the internal temperature of the bag to ensure that the insulin doesn't heat up with the outside temperature. So that was a second little thing that we bought, which has worked out really, really well. So Georgina has been in Honduras for almost her full year now. She's in her final stretch, in her final month, and everything has gone really to plan. These coolers and the bag have worked absolutely brilliantly. I recommend them. We're not affiliated with any of them, but I do recommend them. But what I'm really interested in is to hear from you as well as to what you've used when you've travelled, if you have actually already been on a trip where you needed things for more than, just a day or two of a trip. So I know that there are some people who have purchased bags which you use water to activate them. That, when I was doing my research, I came across that and had really, really good reviews, but I just couldn't envisage whether or not the water would then affect our other luggage and things. So I'd love to hear how that all works, and someone to explain it, and how what their actual findings have been with that and their experiences with that. And what else is there on the market? What have you used? How did you find it? Would you recommend it? And let's just share so we can all learn together. So please give us information on what you've done and ask any questions. We have been through a lot with this long journey and all the travelling planning that we've done. We've got lots of really good tips for sharing with each of our videos, but we'd love to hear your tips as well. So please follow along, please comment, share, and we look forward to future videos and anything that you have to share too. Okay, take care, lovely talking with you, and until next time.